Aaliyah's parents, Usher's parents. Like, where the hell we all at? Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Justin Bieber's name gets brought up a lot in the past, couple of weeks.
Perfect.
We here at the Perfect Talk Podcast. We're going to get right into Clicker Spotlight Story. Every week I find a story out there. Might be a big one. Might be a little story. We're going to shine some light on it. This one is a big one. You can't get away from it. It's your guy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, now facing more than 100 new assault allegations. I think it's 120 altogether.
I didn't even know that.
The number being that big is like, where were y'all at? Where were y'all at? But I think as I'm seeing more and more of these powerful men get in trouble, I think in the Bill Cosby case, it was more for me as a like, it's a little fishy that how many years had passed? 30
years.
Yeah. At that time, it seemed fishy. But now I think, as we've seen with Harvey Weinstein and now with P. Diddy, is like, there do be a lot of victims who are just, I guess, feel like they can't come out with it because of how powerful these people are. And for me to be like, that many people, I don't know, if I had 100 people like dislike me, I can't imagine. I think maybe I don't think about the world in a big enough scale. I'm like, if 100 people knew some dirt on me or had some shit on me, how could I thrive?
Right.
But obviously, when millions of people love you, those hundreds aren't as loud. Yeah. And they feel probably super alone because everyone likes you so much.
But then also the question is, while you may have that dirt on him, what does he have on you?
And how can he hurt you, right? Yeah, because we do hear this, like, I think even before this, we kind of had a feeling about Diddy, that he was a powerful person who could be vengeful if you pushed him to that point. And I think he didn't, like, obviously with making the band, and what was it, like, just various things you saw of him, obviously when they parodied him on Chappelle's Show and stuff, he kind of portrayed that image like, yo, if you don't do this.
And I mean, you've heard certain stories, of him kind of being violent, but that's behind the scenes. But in front of the camera, it
really wasn't even that behind the scenes. Like, I knew when he hit Steve Stout with the champagne bottle over the Nas.
That's what I was just about to bring up.
Like, I knew that happened. I knew about, wasn't he, and then the football coach more recently?
Yeah, with his son.
Yeah.
Or basketball.
It was a kettlebell, right?
Yeah,
Was it basketball? I thought someone played football. I could be wrong. But I knew it had something to do with a kettlebell.
Yeah, it was basketball at USC.
Okay.
Yeah, kettlebell. I mean, to pick up one of those.
So it's not like this has been seen. This has kind of been out. Drake, we've heard rumors about him assaulting Drake. You know what I mean? So we know about these things, but it's just like, yeah, when you have the retribution of he could come back at you with some type of retaliation, then you got the fact that you don't want to automatically revisit trauma. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't been through that type of trauma, but I can imagine some people block stuff out.
Right. And I don't want to think about it. Yeah. It's behind me. It's over.
Maybe you have to take substances to escape it. You know what I mean? So you kind of, if you can get to a point in your life where that's not what you're thinking about on a daily basis, I can easily see where you're like, it's better.
It's forgotten about.
Yeah, as opposed to trying to pursue it and then getting shut down, getting embarrassed, getting all this. So
until you see something happens with somebody else, then it triggers you again. Then it's like, now I'm in a different space in my life. Yeah. Now, there's other people. Now I feel confident and comfortable.
I was going to say that's the big thing. When there's other people doing it, I think that's a huge confidence builder. Mm-hmm. But this one seemed weird in the case. It seemed very, what do they call him? Ambulance chaser. This lawyer himself. One, I don't know if you can see in this picture. I'll put it for the people to see. But that's the phone number. That's a hotline to call if you feel as if you've been wrong.
Oh, yeah. They trying to get all the allegations.
A step and repeat behind you as a lawyer just seems so kind of like...
They're trying to build up this case.
Yeah. Well, according to Tony Bubzy, who is the Houston... I'll say Texas-based, but I did hear it was from Houston. Texas-based lawyer who has come out with these allegations. He said thousands of people actually came out, and they vetted it down to 120 cases so far. Some of the alleged victims include minors who were abused when they were as young as 9 years old, which is another added part, right, to already disgusting, kind of salacious kind of cases. Like, now you start adding kids in it and child abuse, and it's just like, all right, now we're getting dirty. We're getting in the swamp now. Mr. Bubzy said that this is an important matter that we intend to aggressively pursue. He's speaking at his press conference. He said, "No, we will leave no stone unturned to find potentially liable parties in the alleged abuse or any individual or entity who participated in or benefited from this egregious behavior." I want to play something from Tony Bubzy.
One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to a audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
A lot there. The drinking, the drugging people, like that shit is wild too, bro. Like that is next level, like old school date.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't sound too surprised. That doesn't sound too surprised, because I mean you hear that a lot in a lot of places, whether like, it's party, college party, like, you know, they spike the punch or something like that. Yeah.
But he's doing that at his house parties.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so like you would be the person, even if it wasn't you, right? Like let's say you threw a party and some weird guy got in there and started doing shit to people's drinks. The only person they really got to link it back is you. So you would be extra careful that that's not happening at your house party. The fact that he's doing it, is so nutty that it's like, because it's like, bro, they know they got the drink from you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also like, who's gonna believe you type shit. Like
probably.
Yeah. There's so many other people here. No one got drugged.
Then we can't escape the fact that we have to talk about culture, and I don't know that. And this is minus the minor part.
Okay.
But when it comes to putting shit in drinks and stuff like that, I feel like that's been a part of the culture for so long. Like, you know, going to parties, spiking drinks. Rappers make songs about not in today, but early 2000s, like all
got famously
like
for that, right?
And so we hear it in our songs. That doesn't come from nowhere. Mm-hmm. It's because these things are common. It happens. Everybody knows what's going on. And so I just think we've gotten to a place today, you know, in the Me Too era where, okay, it's wrong and we're going to start to speak up about it. Mm-hmm. But it's always been going on. So it's not too shocking to hear when I hear these stories, because it's been going on for decades.
No, it does the opposite. It makes it a little more believable.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm like, before I went to, my sister's 5 years older than me. So before I went to college, you know, she went to college, and I remember my parents were telling us stuff about, you got to watch your drink. Don't put your drink down. They'd be like, don't even drink it. These people
right.
It could come straight out with something in it. You know what I mean? And, yeah, no, to me, it definitely makes it like, damn, bro, you followed the Bill Cosby, like, playbook, man. When you add the kids into it, like
that's the part that's, you know, okay, well, you can't, there's no excuses there.
What I want to say, though, you know, like how it's been rumored in Project 2025 that they want to have a registry of births or pregnancies, I should say. Like when women get pregnant, they have to be part of a registry. I think they should add to Project 2025, if you want your child to be a star, you need to be on some type of registry, because a lot of weird shit is going on with people. Is like, why would you let I go places with my kid. I don't want my kid like out of my eyesight in a store. Right. Like, so for you to like just trust your kid with grown adults, Aaliyah's parents, Usher's parents. Like, where the hell we all at? Like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Justin Bieber's name gets brought up a lot in the past, couple of weeks. It's like, I think there's something a little weird about wanting your kid to be the breadwinner. But I'm not. But keep an eye on your kid.
Right.
And to what price? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want your kid to really go through that just so he could be bringing money into the house?
Man,
like,
it could be a slippery slope for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I on the other side just think because I feel like the kid don't even got no consent really in it. Like, in terms of, does the kid want to spend
their parent. Everything's the parent.
Because that's their life now.
Right.
Does the kid want to spend their life doing that? Like, you know what I mean? They might say yes. I know my kid will say yes to something and then change their mind on it before we even get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just think it's just really weird. Obviously, it's been going on through the beginning of time. Like Shirley Temple, was a child star, and they're always going to exploit kids in some way, shape, or form. But I think we need to, I'm not saying to absolve Puff in any of this, but why the hell was you letting your kid just go off with Puff? Like, let's start turning some of these cases onto the parents and at least getting some explanations and answers out of them.
Right.
That's wow, man. Did resurface this past week a viral video of Puff telling Justin Bieber not to talk about things he does with Big Brother Puff.
Got me a Lamborghini. And
that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
time. He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
This is a clip that was when they were on the Jimmy Kimmel show and just talking. But I've seen a lot of clips of Justin Bieber. I've seen somebody made like a super cut of just like different times when he was 15, 16, maybe 14. Pink like kisses him on the back of the neck when he's on stage at an award show. A reporter is asking him about the sex talk. And he's like, yeah, I got young fans. He's trying to like brush it up. And he was like, why do you even want to talk about this with a 15-year-old? Like, he's trying to like flip it on her, like rightfully so. But you know what I mean? Stuff is coming out about how much he wanted to protect Billie Eilish because of things he went through. And it's just like, I kind of was, not that this would have been better because this was all abuse and this was all stuff, but I was hoping the kids were not a part of this as much as I was hearing people trying to bring it in, and trying to bring it. But this is like the first time I think we have an actual kid accuser. And Diddy's bodyguard this week, I saw in a clip, I believe on Vlad TV, Gene Deal, the one who's been doing a lot of the talking about Diddy, he brought up a story about how Usher got hospitalized with anal bleeding or something like that because of what if something happened with him and Puff. You know what I mean? Allegedly, like it was Gene Deal, it's Vlad TV, who knows how.
Right.
But it's also like but in my head, I'm like, you knew this story for how many years? And this is the first time you coming out about this? You felt comfortable working around this dude? Like, knowing a story like that? Like, that to me is just like, shout out to Mace. Shout out to Mace for getting away from this shit. Because Mace seen something. He's like, yo, we got to get away. And he might have also been taken down with it. You know what I mean? Like, I heard, remember when Puff was giving back all the artists they're publishing maybe a year or two ago? I heard part of getting that was
you have to sign an NDA.
Yeah. So some people turned it down. But even so, right, I don't think an NDA, if you saw illegal activity, from what I understand about an NDA, it's null and void if you want to talk about illegal activity. You can't talk about personal, let's say Puff wants you to work on something.
Right.
Like
but if you're breaking the law, it's breaking the law. But if
you saw a crime, that NDA is null and void if you saw the crime at the time span of which you signed that NDA. So if these people necessarily seen crime, or maybe they just want to talk and don't want to be gagged or potentially sued. But if they did in fact see illegal things, like I believe in the case of Dawn Richardson, the member of Dirty Money, and Danity Kane, she said she saw Cassie getting abused. That's a crime. Like, you were allowed to talk about that, you know what I mean? But even so, a lot of them was just like, no, I'm not signing on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people took it and was just like, I'll get my publishing out. I'll just stay out of this. You know, this doesn't have anything to do with me, which I don't knock them for. You know what I mean? Like, that's their money, that's their stuff. And who knew? It would have been very hard at that time to predict that a year and a half later we'd be here with Puff, man. But it's not looking great, man. There's like I said, this case has 120 allegations, 120 accusers, 60 men, 60 women, which is weird that it equally stopped like that. But then there's another allegation this week that the feds have tape with that was given to them from a sex worker, a male sex worker that they had. So it's not looking great for Puff, man. I don't think we got a chance to talk about it, man. But how do you feel about him not getting out on bail?
Yeah, I mean, you did the crime, or alleged crime, you got to do the time. I mean, if he got out on bail, I mean, would he flee? Maybe.
He offered up his passports. He offered up his kids, like his family passports. He offered, I think, his plane. He offered to wear a monitor, and they still turned that down. I think it's not even if you do the crime that you got to be kept in there, because a lot of rich and powerful people do crimes and are allowed to at least sleep in their own beds until they have to, been convicted. I think they're alleging, and it wouldn't, based off of the stories and the lore of Puff Daddy, he was threatening a lot of these people, like.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, did I talk about it with you? I'm not sure if I talked about it with you, but so when the girl Dawn started talking about what she saw at her time with Dirty Money, I don't know how true this is or what, like how they back this up. This is what I heard. They said that he called the other member. I think her name is like Kalina or something like that. They said he called her phone 52 times, 52 times before she released the statement. And I don't know if you remember, her statement was saying basically like, I'm not
like disputing. She recanted or something like that.
Right? She's like, I can't dispute what Dawn had said. That just wasn't my experience.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, you called her 52 times and then it stopped after she put that statement out. You a wild boy. Yeah. You a wild boy, bro. Like, I don't think there's too many people trying to defend anything that Puff has did, but like, that shows me, that one, you're not smart because all that stuff is trackable. But two, it's like, you might get desperate and do something crazy. So I could see why they felt like he was a flight risk or
yeah, I mean, certainly the threatening of witnesses, that's very, 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 there's potential for that. So, I mean, hey, listen, I don't feel sorry for him. So, it sucks, but, it
sucks to see it happen to a black man, someone that we didn't look up to him as like a role model, but definitely as someone in the community that we saw break financial barriers, do a lot of things. It is a little disappointing to see. I heard. I don't know how true this was. I heard he was bunking with the FTX guys. I don't know. I think even if it was true, I think once it got out, I think they would have to separate them, because wouldn't that be like he can still threaten people through Sam Friedman, because if people know that's who he stays with. Can't they communicate through Sam Friedman or have Sam Friedman?
I mean, but he's not in isolation, so that can be the case with anybody he's with. So,
but we don't know who that person is. But I think by us knowing who that person is it's kind of like a little dangerous. It might be potentially dangerous.
So you have to think about it. Like, wherever he's being held, it's a special place for special people, and so they're
protective custody. You mean?
Yeah, but it's not. I don't think it's regular protective custody, celebrity protective custody. So whoever he's going to be with is going to be, now we may not know them, but they probably will still be somebody influential
of power
of some sort. So
yeah. I don't know how true it is. I heard rumors that it was true, then I heard it was false. If anything, if it was true, I would imagine that they would have to switch it up at that point. But yeah, man, it's not looking great for Puff. Maybe by the time y'all hear this, new allegations or new...
I'm just waiting on that list to drop. All the
celebrities at the party?
His accomplices.
Yeah, that was another thing Tony Bubzy said, right? He's like, we're going after
and they already know who they are.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of CEOs step down in the last couple of months.
I heard that. Usher took down his Twitter. Pink took down her Twitter. There was I think Tony Bubzy said too, is like, he's like, we're not just talking about the people who are complicit and allowed this thing to go on. We're talking about the people that like egged it on and literally like allowed it to happen. And
I don't know how you go after those people, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because seeing something and not saying, that's not necessarily a crime. So, maybe they just plan on shaming them. Like, oh, you saw this, but you didn't do this. Yeah. But you didn't do nothing.
Which isn't great.
It's not great. It's not a crime, but it's not great.
You seen the trend with like celebrities that have been photographed at Diddy parties, kind of like, I wasn't at that part of the party.
I just went to the front gate. Just say hi.
Amount of time. which I don't think is fair either. I think I think it was the party to be at. It was a thing to do. It's a status symbol.
I don't like that light that this. If you went to any Diddy party, that you're somehow like
you're part of a freak off,
right? Yeah. Where I know all the parties was not like that, and there may have been like a second party after the party that ended up being like that.
Yeah.
But the main events were not like that most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think those are photograph parties.
Right.
Like Meek Mill's homeboy or ex-homeboy or whatever came out and was like, he was out there at LA or Miami, I'm not for sure which one, but basically Puff was throwing parties and they got to go to one, a day party of some sort. But it was like, there's a night party and he's like, nah, y'all ain't go.
we gonna go to the day party.
But that don't mean that was something salacious or free. It just might be like might have been a little more VIP, whereas
I know what I mean.
I honestly have to hear something to the effect of like, when Puff invites you to a party, like you're not bringing plus ones. Like females can bring plus ones, but he's not like telling a dude because he doesn't want you to bring your crew.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like if you're a female, like you could probably get in with a plus one, but he's not. He doesn't want Meek Mill's Philly homeboys.
Right. No.
Yeah. So it's just like I could get that, but obviously that story could be spun in a way to make it seem like why you ain't want people to be at that type of party. You know what I'm saying? But a year or two ago, we'd been like, ain't want you at the party because it was the exclusive one. It was the fly one. So it's a slippery slope. Puff has not helped himself with the image that he's put out there for himself. It makes it really believable that some of this stuff happened. But I am a firm believer in your innocence or proven guilty. So I got to prove what this man did. That this stuff wasn't consensual. That this stuff, you know what I mean?
Right. I don't believe that so there's a couple of things. I mean, the whole drugging thing with the drinks. That's to me is very believable.
You gotta prove it though. How do you prove it?
No, yeah, I mean you gotta prove it for sure. The only thing I will say that I don't like for sure is just the minor stuff. Everything outside of the minor is just like whatever. I mean, this is normal shit if you just want to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, whether, there will always be powerful men. There will always, people will feel the need maybe not to talk up because of somebody's power. Like these dynamics will always exist. Now I don't condone drugging drinks and nothing like that, but it happens. It will continue to happen.
It's a danger. People know about going to the party.
Right. You have to be responsible. Like, you should not be drinking drinks that you did not pour for, or you didn't see being poured or whatever. Like, so, we have to, there needs to be onus on multiple sides, not just.
That same danger exists in a nightclub.
Exactly.
Yeah. And no one's shutting down nightclubs. No, it's a slippery slope with Puff, man. Even the trafficking stuff seems kind of like third party crime. It's like, they'd be like, if you buy Kush, you're supporting terrorism. Right. Remember that was a thing like during the early 2000s? And it's like...
That sounds crazy, though. You think about it.
Yes.
Because of where it comes from.
Yes, but we're not supporting terrorism. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of feels like what the trafficking thing is like. Yes, they are workers.
Right.
But you're making it seem like they went out of their will. They probably got compensated. And
they did get compensated.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like, yes, he's participating in an illegal activity that exists, but
everywhere honestly, in our country, like it's only.
Let's take it on another level. If you fly a girl out, that's for that purpose. That's trafficking. Even though no one said that was what's going to happen, right? She can turn it around and make it seem like you brought her across state lines for that reason.
Right. Like, I mean, people do it all the time, every day.
It's a slippery slope. I don't like that. If he did crimes, let's. Crimes that let's not just
none of this nonsense crap.
Baby oil and he's a freaky ass.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's a Wendy Williams version of it. Like, we knew that this was going on, but then there's a criminal activity. Let's prove the criminal. Let's
stick to the criminal facts.
The stuff is fun and it's exciting as content, but if you want to keep a man in there, deny his bail,
right,
and all that, then you better prove some crimes that happened. You know what I mean? And we'll see what things coming as the story develops. What it do, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy. Just interrupting real quick, man. I really appreciate you watching this episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. But if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. You got to run them numbers up so I could keep running it up. Also, if you're listening to the audio version on the podcast, make sure you leave a review. Let them know how much you love the podcast, and subscribe to the thing. And if you really, really want to support the team, go to www.perfecttalk.com realtalkpodcast.com. Get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a sticker. You can even get yourself a mug, man. The possibilities are endless and the prices are low. Holla at us, baby. Let's get it.